Imagine you're sitting in a meeting. Someone is standing at the front of the room. They're confident, relaxed, certain. They speak without hesitation. Every answer arrives immediately. Every opinion sounds definitive. For a moment, it's easy to assume they know exactly what they're talking about. Then, someone asks a simple question. Not an aggressive question, not a trick, just one thoughtful follow-up. The room becomes quiet. The confident answer begins to unravel. The explanation grows vague. The certainty starts disappearing. And suddenly, everyone realizes the speaker understood far less than they believed. We've all witnessed moments like this. Perhaps we've even lived one ourselves. The surprising part isn't that people are sometimes wrong. Everyone is. The surprising part is how easily confidence can convince us that we're right. Think back to the first time you learned to drive. After a few weeks, you probably felt fairly capable. Months later, you realized how much you still didn't know. Years later, you understood there were situations you'd never even imagined. The more you learned, the larger the landscape became. Something similar happens every time we begin learning a new skill. Cooking, photography, investing, parenting, leadership, psychology. At first, we know so little that we can't yet see how much remains invisible. Strangely, that can make us feel more confident than we should. Why? Most of us believe confidence comes from knowledge. But psychology suggests the relationship isn't quite that simple. Sometimes the people who know the least feel the most certain, while those with genuine expertise often speak with far greater humility, not because they know less, but because they understand how much there still is to learn. This isn't a story about intelligence. It isn't about education, and it certainly isn't about mocking people who are confidently mistaken. Because every expert began as a beginner. Instead, this is a story about self-awareness, about the invisible gap between what we know and what we think we know. Because one of the most difficult questions any human being can ask isn't, "Am I right?" It's, "What if I'm wrong and I simply can't see it yet?" This phenomenon has a name. Psychologists call it the Dunning-Kruger effect. And once you recognize it, you'll begin seeing it everywhere. Imagine asking someone to rate their ability in a skill they've only recently begun learning. Many people will place themselves well above average. Not because they're dishonest, not because they're arrogant, because they genuinely believe they're doing well. Here's the paradox. The very skills required to perform a task well are often the same skills required to evaluate our own performance accurately. If those skills haven't fully developed, something remarkable happens. We make mistakes without recognizing they're mistakes. It's like trying to proofread a language you've only just begun learning. You don't notice the errors because you haven't yet learned what correct looks like. In 1999, psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger set out to explore this puzzle. Across a series of experiments, participants completed tasks involving humor, logic, and grammar. Then they estimated how well they believed they had performed. The results revealed a striking pattern. Those who performed worst often believed they had performed quite well. Not because they were pretending, because they genuinely lacked the knowledge needed to recognize their own limitations. Meanwhile, those who performed best often underestimated themselves, not because they lacked confidence, but because genuine expertise had shown them how much complexity still remained. The beginner sees a small hill and believes they've reached the summit. The expert looks beyond that hill and finally notices the mountain range. That's the quiet irony of learning. Knowledge doesn't simply give us answers. Sometimes its greatest gift is revealing how many questions still remain. Imagine watching someone perform a skill for the very first time. Perhaps they're playing the piano, performing surgery, flying an airplane, or speaking a language you've never studied. From the outside, it can seem surprisingly simple. After all, their hands move naturally. Their decisions appear effortless. The result looks almost obvious. Psychologists sometimes call this the illusion of explanatory depth. We often believe we understand something far more deeply than we actually do, until someone asks us to explain it. Think about a bicycle. Most people are completely confident they know how one works. After all, they've ridden one for years. But ask them to draw every moving part, or explain exactly how the steering keeps the bicycle balanced. Suddenly, certainty begins to fade. Not because they're unintelligent, because familiarity quietly masqueraded as understanding. This happens everywhere. We watch a master chef prepare a beautiful meal. We think, I could probably do that. We watch an experienced investor explain the stock market. We think, that makes perfect sense. We hear someone speak another language fluently. It sounds almost effortless. The more invisible the years of practice become, the easier it is to underestimate what mastery actually requires. Experts often make difficult things look easy. Ironically, that very excellence can convince the rest of us that the skill itself must be easy too. The illusion isn't arrogance, it's incomplete perspective. And perspective is something experience quietly builds. If beginners often overestimate themselves, why do experts so often do the opposite? The answer isn't that experts lack confidence. It's that they've spent years discovering how much complexity lies beneath the surface. Every answer revealed another question. Every solution introduced another challenge. Every success expanded the horizon. Imagine standing at the edge of the ocean. From a distance, it looks calm, simple, predictable. But the farther you walk into the water, the more you discover. Currents, depth, tides, creatures below the surface. The ocean didn't become more complicated. You simply began to see what had always been there. Knowledge often works the same way. The more we genuinely learn, the more we become aware of everything we have yet to understand. That realization doesn't weaken confidence, it reshapes it. Real confidence doesn't rush to prove itself. It listens. It asks questions. It welcomes correction. Because it no longer needs to appear certain all the time. Perhaps that's why the wisest people often use phrases like, "I could be wrong," I'm still learning. Tell me more. Those aren't signs of uncertainty. They're signs that curiosity has become stronger than ego. The journey from confidence to wisdom doesn't happen when we discover all the answers. It begins the moment we become comfortable saying, "I don't know." Humility is often misunderstood. Many people imagine that being humble means thinking less of yourself. But genuine humility is something very different. It isn't believing that you have nothing to contribute. It's recognizing that every person you meet knows something you do not. The most accomplished people rarely stop learning, not because they doubt themselves, but because they understand that mastery is never finished. Every conversation is another opportunity. Every mistake, another teacher. Every unfamiliar idea, another doorway. Ironically, the more expertise someone develops, the easier it becomes to ask simple questions. Questions that beginners are often afraid to ask. Not because experts already know the answer, but because they no longer fear discovering that they don't. Real wisdom doesn't need to protect itself. It welcomes correction. It celebrates new evidence. And when reality changes, it quietly changes along with it. Perhaps the strongest words an intelligent person can ever speak are simply, "I've changed my mind." So, what can we do? How do we avoid becoming trapped by our own certainty? Perhaps the answer is surprisingly simple. Become curious before becoming certain. When you feel absolutely convinced, pause just for a moment. Ask yourself, what might I be missing? What would someone who disagrees with me see differently? Those questions don't weaken your thinking, they strengthen it. The goal isn't endless doubt, it's intellectual flexibility. The willingness to update your understanding when better evidence appears. That isn't weakness, it's growth. Every mountain reveals another mountain. Every answer uncovers another question. The horizon never stops moving. And perhaps that's exactly how learning was always meant to feel. The Dunning-Kruger effect isn't simply a warning about overconfidence. It's an invitation. An invitation to remain curious, to listen carefully, to change when the evidence asks us to. Because wisdom isn't measured by how often we're right. It's measured by how willing we are to keep learning. The moment we believe our education is complete, we quietly stop growing. But the moment we choose curiosity over certainty, the journey begins again. Thank you for watching Hidden Influence. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing and joining us as we continue exploring the hidden forces that quietly shape the way we think, the choices we make, and the lives we live.